Hey guys, this is Tutor Me MATLAB with my second video, M files, fprintf, and disp. You open a new M file by clicking this icon right here. Some of the first things you want to do before you start actually writing your code is to comment at the top and within your code. So I'm going to start with the top of the file. To tell the computer that you're going to start writing a comment, you use the percentage sign, and usually I like to start my files with my name, and then also the percentage sign will only work for things written in that line. So if you want to write another thing in another line, you have to do percentage sign again. So vamos a maybe the name of the file, I'm going to call it example1.m. That's the extension. And maybe what the file does teaches people how to use MATLAB. And now you can actually start writing your code. So let's say this code will have a variable for apples, have a variable for oranges, and will compute how many pieces of fruit you have. So you can do, and you yourself will decide in the future where you want to comment and where it's necessary. I'm just gonna over comment in this M file just for the sake of showing you guys how. So this variable tells you how many apples. And now I actually write code apples equals 10. This variable tells you how many oranges this variable tells you how many apples plus oranges. Fruit equals and I'm not gonna suppress this so that when I type the name of the M file in the command window, this whole code runs and I get this output. So I'm gonna leave this like this. I'm gonna save it as example1, no spaces. Now I'm gonna go and type example1. You notice how I didn't put .m here? That's the correct way to do it. And to be able to run the code, it has to be in your current directory. So just make sure you notice where you saved the file and that this is the same directory where you saved it, and you can check in your current directory. There's my file. So fruit equals 30, and I have apples, fruit, and oranges right here and all their values. So a neat thing you can do with this is actually display messages and values of variables. So let's keep all this. Let's suppress this so that it no longer tells us what fruit is. And then I'm going to display with a nice message, hey, this is how many pieces of fruit you have, and then display the number. So to do this, you can use either display or fprintf. So when you use display, you can say the format for display, and I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to do, there's two ways to print. First is disp, and the second one is fprintf. And between this parentheses is what you want to print or display. So to display a statement, you have to use apostrophe, and then write your statement, and then close it with another apostrophe, and then close the parentheses in the display. So I have display, and I can write this is how many pieces of fruit you have. Close, close. And you don't suppress because it's displaying something. And then I'll do disp, and then I'll write the variable fruit. And if you see, I didn't put any apostrophes here because I want to display the value of the variable fruit, not the word fruit. If you want to see the difference between those two, I can do disp fruit. I'll just use apostrophes here. So this will print, this is how many pieces of fruit you have. It'll go to the next line because disp automatically goes to the next line. And then it'll print whatever value this is, in this case 30. And then this will print the word fruit. So how many pieces of fruit you have, and then fruit. So yeah, that's one way to print. And then the other way to print is to use fprintf. I like to personally use fprintf all the time because it's more versatile. The thing is that with display, you can only either display strings or you can only display one variable. And with fprintf, you can display values of variables within your string. You'll see what I mean when I do this. So I'm just going to keep this. I'm going to erase this one and keep the rest of the displays so that you can see how fprintf works exactly the same way as disp. So I can do fprintf, open parentheses, and then I can write whatever I want. This is how many pieces of fruit you have. But what fprintf does not do is go to the next line automatically. So if I were to put another fprintf below this one, it would print on the same line. Maybe I'll show you. That'll be best. fprintf. This is still on the same line. So I'll run example 1, and what I'm doing here is pressing the up button in the cursor, and I can cycle through everything I've written before. So example 1. So this is the disp, and then this is the fprintf. This is how many pieces of fruit you have. This is still on the same line, and this is the current line I'm in. These two greater than signs mean that I'm on that line, and you don't want that. You always want this to be the last thing on your code, and on a line on its own. So I'm gonna go here. To tell fprintf that you have to go to a new line, you do \n, and then I'll do \n here, and now I'll have what I want. So I'll do example 1. This is how many pieces of fruit you have. This is the same. This is how many pieces of fruit you have. And now on a new line, this is still on the same line, and this is nice and tidy in the last line by itself. Now if you want to display variables within this statement, let's say I want to write you have, and then the number of things, number of pieces of fruit. You can use placeholders, and so let me get rid of all the displays, and I'll put a comment here. Placeholders. They are %d for numbers, %s for strings. There's a bunch of other ones, but you can look them up on matlab.com. Just Google placeholders for fprintf, and they'll give you a whole list for the different placeholders you need to store different things. So I'll do fprintf, And maybe I'll change the message a bit. I can say you can sell, and my ultimate message I want to look like this. You can sell X number of apples and Y number of oranges. So that's my ultimate message. So as you can see, I have two variables that I don't know the value. The actual value depends on what these values are ultimately. So I have to use a placeholder, and in this case I can choose between these two, and D is my integer one. You can also use F if you have decimal number with decimal points, and you can use F for that, percentage F, that is. So you can sell percentage D number of apples, and again percentage D because it's another integer, number of oranges, right? And I'll do period, go to the next line, and I'll close the message. So this is what it'll display. Now to tell the computer that you want this percentage D to be the value of apples, of the variable apples, and this percentage D to be the value of the variable oranges, at the end you write comma and however many variables you used and in the order you use them. So I use the variable apples, comma, and I use the variable oranges. And those are the only two variables, and I use them in that order. And that way MATLAB will know what to put where. Close the parentheses. And I'm pretty happy with this statement. I'm pretty sure it'll work, so let's save it. Let's go to MATLAB. Let's clear the whole command window. Clear command window. Enter. Nice and tidy. And I'll do example 1 again. You can sell 10 number of apples and 20 number of oranges. And there you have it. That's a perfectly legitimate fprintf statement, and you can do this also with strings. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in string variables in the last video, but I can say x equals hello there, and I'll close. Now this is a variable, that's a string. It's a message by itself. So maybe I can do after this I can do fprintf, and then I'll do apostrophe percentage s, and then I'll do next line, close apostrophe, comma. What variable did I use? I used x, close the parentheses, and okay, so didn't use any other variables, so I only print an x, and I'll do example 1. You can sell 10 number of oranges, and hello there. So if you change the percent s here to an integer value, it'll actually print the ASCII values. If you're not familiar with ASCII values, that's fine, and we'll certainly hit that topic in another video. So percentage D, I'll save, and now I'll do example 1, and these are the ASCII values of the characters I had, which is certainly not what you wanted. You wanted to display the message hello there. I think that's it for displaying an fprintf, and next video I'll show you how to use user inputted data, and you can actually print very nice statements with user inputted data. I'll see you next video. Hopefully I'll get it out sooner rather than later. Please subscribe. That's what keeps me going and making more videos. I hope this was helpful, and I sure appreciate constructive criticism. Thanks a lot.